It has been a while since I've showcased some battles of my own. Welcome to this video where I will be actually showcasing some. It has been a while since I've been competing in solo formats. I've only really been competing in team formats and play Pokemon. And this time I decided to play in a tournament hosted by Arena Legendaria. They're a Mexican-based organization that hosts team and now also solo formats. I believe that was the sole purpose of this tournament, to launch like a solo format leaderboard ranking and stuff, and I decided to participate because I like Arena Legendaria, and the format actually looked really interesting. It's something I had never done before. So it was an Ultra League, not my favorite, but the format, listen, is Show 9, Bring 9. How's it different from Show 6, Bring 6? The idea here was that you play a best of 3, and every battle you can pick the 3 Pokemon that you pick, you cannot bring to the next battle. So essentially, it means that you will be using every single Pokemon on your team. Now, of course, there's an exception that if you manage to win or lose a battle with 2 Pokemon remain, or 1 Pokemon not having shown at all on your or the opposing team, in that case, that Pokemon can just be used again. But it happened only once to me, so that's very rare. I swept this tournament by 7-0, and in this video, I'm gonna go through some of these battles, not all of them, because it's 21 battles. I played all of them just in case of like tiebreakers. So the team that I brought, actually super standard. I've played formats before in like Sylph, that was Show 8, Band 2, and the way I approached those formats was to just bring some hard meta Pokemon, some Pokemon that hopefully core break or tackle 4 or 5 Pokemon on the other team, so they draw like bands in. And also Pokemon that like double cover actual strongest Pokemon. Like I brought Double Fairy just in case people would overuse Dragon type Pokemon or try to just degen through with like an Annihilate. Nothing really special about it. I went with like some Pokemon that I use a lot in the Go Battle League. I have a really good Guzzlord that I wanted to try out. It's like one of the best you can get from trades. I use like Gastrodon, Galarian, Moltres, and Corviknight that I've been playing in Open Ultra League a lot. Cradley is a fantastic core breaker. Ampharo's just there because I couldn't think of something better. I kind of wish I brought Drapion instead, but yeah, at least Ampharos tackles Talonflame, I guess. One last important note about this format, we actually were allowed to change the movesets before the battles. They were 48-hour rounds, so we had time to study our matchups. I actually hardly did this because I'm always low on charge TMs because I'm like a million team formats. I only did this for round 7 because I was like, well, if I sweep this, I might make a video, and I kind of want to do that, so let me show you what this looks like. My first round is against Mr. Akira, and the game that I have up here is game number 2. So we already have 1 game played, and I've crossed out the 3 Pokemon we both have used on the right. Now, that means that their Lapras, Annihilate, and Clefable are gone, and I felt like that makes my Guzzlord even better, even though they have 3 Fairy-type Pokemon, because it pairs so well with my Corviknight that already kind of was free into their team. The only real threats that they kind of have are Annihilate and Feraligatr. So let's take a look at how this goes here in this first match. Again, Guzzlord, Corviknight core looks really good, so I'm putting them in the back. This is kind of an iffy matchup. As you know, in Great League, this Pokemon always has Bulldoze, and it looks like that in this Ultra League it also has Bulldoze, because ground type coverage is just really good, but it's also really weak. This is interesting to note. My opponent dared to throw on Charge Attack Priority there, meaning that if I don't throw here, they expect to get Charge Attack Priority with me. I'm just going to go for a sneak. Does it help me here? I'm not too sure. The Fairy Winds are going to add up, but I'm fine losing this because it is unlikely they will have a Tinkaton lead with a Galarian Weezing in the back. Them saving this Tinkaton is actually rather annoying, because if they swap out now, I'm kind of forced to bring in my Guzzlord, and because I need to get rid of Guzzlord, it has no play into Tinkaton. I think this is one of the Pokemon that I TM'd later. The Ampharos maybe as well. I think I have Focus Plus later on. Because without Sludge Bomb, I was not able to hit any Fairy-type Pokemon. I also think that Dragon Claw plus Crunch is slightly more favorable. Brutal Swing comes out pretty quickly. It's a pretty efficient attack, but it helps to pack a little bit more power with Guzzlord. That is if you go for a Dark type with Dragon Claw. Otherwise, I think Brutal Swing plus Sludge Bomb makes more sense. So I TM'd to Sludge Bomb later. This matchup took very long. I was going to keep my energy here, I think, once they swapped. And it can be anything really in the back, but the thing is, the worst that could be in the back is a Feraligatr, but I'm a shield up. I get the Sand Attack down here. Corviknight, in Great League is usually not that good, but in Ultra League, it is so bulky, and it's going to help a lot here, because this is a very fine match here. Iron Head is a legacy charge attack. I don't have 2 Corviknight anymore at the moment. Maybe I'll make one at some point again, but Iron Head was just so disappointing when I played Corviknight for the first time. So it's the moveset that I will be running for the entirety of it. Sky attack and payback. There's still that Tinkton in the back, but it only has resisted charge attack, so I will shield everything up here. I believe that my Guzzlord would also be able to get to a charge attack into the Malamar because Psywave does 1 damage to it. And yeah, look at that. This absolutely does nothing. Even a resisted Sky attack will be so fine here. This might not knock out yet, but send attack down should be possible. I'm not even a superpower ranger just yet. And then Corviknight should be able to clean up this match, really going for a payback because that does a little bit more damage than Sky attack. Payback is one of the most efficient charge attacks at 60 energy. That should do it. So won this match by 3-0, and this is just kind of an example where I kind of had a team advantage, but I had to be careful to have my Corviknight in the correct place, and I didn't want to bring it in game number 1 right away because I feel like sometimes if you can win game number 1 and you have your strongest assets for game number 2, you're very good. You're in a very good position to win the best of 3. Round number 2 is against Bryanderson, and this is game number 3 of this set. That means that 6 Pokemon on both of our side are already eliminated. And Bryanderson got a little bit in trouble with the team composition here. So we have 3 Pokemon left, both of us on each side. We just have to guess which order or how am I going to use this. The problem for Bryanderson is he has 2 Pokemon weak to Cradily and 2 weak to Ampharos in both water types. The Gastrodon also entirely unchecked. This is kind of his best answer because I know in the back is the Shadow Feraligatr and the Galarian Weezing. If I would lose the lead, I could honestly just always swap in Ampharos. He has no answer. He couldn't even swap out if he let Galarian Weezing here and I swapped Ampharos in. What are you going to do? Swap in with Gator or Lapras? That's not going to work. Actually brings in Gator here, which is surprising. Maybe getting a little bit ahead of an energy, but he's basically throwing immediately here, so doesn't matter, I guess. I come in with Ampharos. I can take an attack here. I know it's going to do the most damage. I think for this match, I guess I got Focus Blast because I'm a little bit worried about Verizon, Cradily, and Guzzlord. And ever since I kept it on the Ampharos. But yeah, this is going to be just a game of alignment here. He also has Overheat. Not the most exciting thing, but you can just see how this works out because I also got in this position at some point. That will be a game we'll look at, I believe, in round 3 or 4, where I got in trouble into a Typhlosion. I basically used all my counters already because I was so dedicated to winning the first 2 matches. It is a best of 3 after all. Round number 3 is against Gaboherka, and the match we're looking right now is Battle 3. So in this scenario as well, we know from each other which 3 we can use, and I'm in trouble because I was so afraid of Typhlosion that I've been targeting in game number 1 and 2, and in game number 3, all my Typhlosion weak Pokemon are still remaining. So I have Double Fairy and Corviknight. He still actually has the Typhlosion, which is going to be a big problem because I didn't want to use any Charge TMs. I also don't have Swift on my Clefable to deal neutral damage to it. The way I wanted to deal with this was hopefully face Typhlosion in the lead. This is my best answer to it, and if not, I want to build up energy and swap out into something else. If he expends the energy from Grumpig on it, that is totally fine. I'm actually super fine with the lead. I'm just going to store an attack, swap into Clefable. Brings in the Cradily. Maybe he's expecting that I have Swift, but I have Meteor Mash, and it's actually great here. Meteor Mash is an extremely efficient charge attack that otherwise only Metagross has, but Clefable also has access to it, and it's super useful into Rock-type Pokemon, that is Cradily. 2 will knock out, I believe, on this charge attack purity right here, and then I have a lot of HP left, which is super uncomfortable for my opponent here. It knocks out. I also know, by the way, that Corviknight, I'm not going to say it's Typhlosion counter, but it has some play, because Sand Attack, Typhlosion is the only Pokemon that actually takes damage from it. Moonblast coming through. It is debuffed, won't deal a lot of damage, and my opponent is smart, being annoying because he keeps all the shields for the Shadow Typhlosion, the most fragile Pokemon. Do keep in mind, I have a Sludge. I also have Brutal Swing. I may have TM'd that at some point to Overheat, I can't remember. But that helps because I'm going to land one of these, and then Brutal Swing is only 4 Fairy Wind for each charge attack, which helps me out a lot because I need to get to these fast. As long as this Typhlosion can get really low, I might be able to Sand Attack it later on in the end game. But do keep in mind that Grumpig also has energy. I believe he's at 2 Thunder Punch here, so I cannot shield. I'm going to hope that I can Sand Attack this all the way down, and they actually start adding up. These obviously deal the most damage because Grumpig only has neutral charge attacks or resist if you're on Psybeam for some reason, but they generally have Dynamic Punch and Shadow Ball. It did have a lot of energy still from the previous match though. Swapping out, I'm throwing my Sky Attack immediately. This is kind of where I wish I had Iron Head just for slightly better pacing. Can I get to another Sky Attack here? I'm gonna need it. If he gets to 2 Dynamic Punch here, the game is over because it's a very efficient charge stack, and I get there just barely before my opponent. My opponent won't be able to land the Incinerate because it won't land before 5 turns, and he was already sand attacked down by that. So even though I was in trouble, I still got out of it. And I was really fortunate, though, that they didn't anticipate the Meteor Mash on my Clefable. Not using charge CMs kind of saved me there. Round number 4 is against Lalo LG7, and this time we're going to go with the full brunt of the entire matchup. So round number 1, all 9 Pokemon are available, but my opponent decided to go kind of with an entire Core Breaker team. There's hardly any safe Pokemon on his team here. This is also the first Talonflame that we face. I'm really just throwing it all on my guts here. Drapion players, they love Drapion, and Gastron's kind of difficult to play into this team with those flying type Pokemon. I do not fear Dragonite at all with this team, even without Ice Beam. Lapras is not the worst there. So I'm gonna go with the Corviknight lead. I call the Drapion lead, which is not as good as you want it to be, but this is kind of where I wanted it, so that's nice. This time I'm not bringing the Gastrodon though, but you'll find that like I play a lot of Go Battle League lines as well in these matchups because these Pokemon just pair really well together. He swaps in the Talonflame, I'm bringing Ampharos. You could argue that I could bring in either Pokemon, but I feel like this could be a bait out for my Lapras as well. Maybe it is for the Ampharos, and then it's just tough, right? If it's like double fire, I kind of want my Lapras still in the back, because an Ultra League against a regular Typhlosion, I'm still fine. My opponent goes to a ton of energy here. I actually let this go. I can't remember exactly what the idea was behind that, but I have 2 shields. He had 2 attacks, though. Oh, this was the idea. Because I already had so much energy left, Corviknight will take this out anyway. I will have shield advantage for my Pokemon here. I'm actually throwing not on great timing. I throw a little bit too early, but that's because I don't want the double boosted Incinerate to land here. Let's see what it brings in. It is the Drapion again. So fine for me. It is Charge Attack Purity. Because of the difference in regions here, the animations, the visuals are a little bit off. I feel like it's only when I play against other Europeans that the connection looks pretty fine, but that is the nature of the game, I guess. At this point, if I look at his team, there's nothing that can beat Lapras with a shield up or even after a crunch still. I'm not exactly sure what to expect anyway, but it had to be something that counters Gastrodon, and there it is. It is a Goliath. I'm actually going to shield up the first attack, because I'm going to Skull Bash this. Very nice that I don't have any Charge Sims and never use an Elite Charge Sim on this Lapras, because Skull Bash will be very nice here. You're going to find that this Lapras, the X-Scissor will tickle. This does like no damage. The Fury Cutter buff is very necessary for Goliath Spot next season, because this match, that ain't it, man. This ain't it. Well, we'll see if Lapras will even be relevant if Bellow Bolt might become meta. It's pretty difficult electric type in the first place to deal with. Comes back in with the Drapion. I'm not gonna let him. I think I lost track of energy here, but I'm not gonna let him get to a charge stack. I will be able to side down the Goliath Spot. In game number 2, I actually threw in all of my best answers to Dragonite. I ran both Fairy type Pokemon. That did leave me super weak to both his Clefable and Primeape in game number 3. But I did win game number 2 because I just RPS'd him. Round number 5 is against Gordomuza. Super friendly guy, awesome to play against him. But Gordomuza did a small mistake or over prediction in game number 1. I'm not sure if I should call him a mistake if it could have worked otherwise, because what he did was target my Cradily a lot in game number 1, and this is game number 2. He used Malamar, Drapion, and Clefable in game number 1, meaning he has no Cradily answers anymore. So I won game number 1, and game number 2 is kind of easier for me. This, ironically, is one of his better answers to it. So now that my Cradily is relatively free, Talonflame has kind of forced to stay in here. If Talonflame stays in for a while, it actually gets Cradily quite low with Incinerates. It's not as low as in Great League, but it'll do. Since he throws on off timing here, I do sneak a Bullet Seed, and it's great for me, but I let this Brave Bird go, which is not great for my health. I swap in my Clefable, which is kind of my better answer here, but if you look at my backline, I have a Lapras, so I'm super fine into Talonflame. I just have to make sure that it doesn't get like a farm down on me. Let's see how much this does. Licky Licky, I hate this Pokemon so much. I'm glad I got a rollout buff, but it's still prevalent enough to to do something here. It's straight 5 rollout for Earthquake. Not sure if he has Body Slam, maybe another charge stack as coverage into my Pokemon. You'll never know with a Pokemon like Licky Licky if it also has Solar Beam or Shadow Ball. So I'm going to go straight into the Cradily. He comes into the Talonflame simultaneously, so great prediction by me. And since he stayed in with the Talonflame into my Cradily earlier, I was like, well, you have nothing anyway, so I'm just going to swap in my Cradily here. Use the Fly. I should get to another one. And I throw on great timing here. But that does mean the next Incinerate lands, and because that Incinerate lands, I will not be able to get to another charge stack on whatever comes in. but this is very familiar to a previous situation where I had Lapras with a shield up into a Golisopod. And remember, I don't have charge TMs, or I don't want to use them, so I don't have Ice Beam. And it's actually great here because Skull Bash is just going to be fine. He does still have a catch remaining, though, in the other Pokemon he was using. Skull Bash going through here. It was a Licky Licky, that's the Pokemon he still has, but it shouldn't be able to get to another charge stack. And especially after this Skull Bash, that's not going to do any damage in the first place. So, kind of fine here. I just have to make sure that he doesn't catch, but honestly, I think this Gliscol just gets Psywave down. I'm going to throw right before a potential Body Slam. I actually maybe needed one more if he threw his Earthquake previously immediately. So, should be fine. I get the Psywave down, and I win game number 2. Round number 6 is against Rafael Martins, and this match didn't really start great. So, first off, he has a lot of core breakers to what I have. Like Stunfisk and Verizon Talonflame together, I cannot really break that up, and this was not looking good for me. But because of some misunderstanding in communication, which I really don't want to go deeper into, because at the time I left dinner early in Bologna, and I was waiting, and apparently he meant another day. It was frustrating. He got a miscommunication / no-show loss for that. But it was convenient for me, and we had to throw 3 Pokemon away, both of us, as replacements for game number 1. So I basically threw away Moltres, Lapras, and Galarian Weezing, because they're weak to Unova and Stunfisk, and it's Pokemon that I didn't really think through when I was entering this team. However, after game 2, I let my Ampharos into Ufisk. I won that game. He let a Skytech go through 2 shields on Verizon for some reason. Then I Focus Blasted his Ufisk with Ampharos, which was a crazy game. But in game number 3, that's the one we're going to look at right now. We know from each other what we have. I have Gastrodon, Cradley, Guzzlord. He has Talonflame, Grumpig, Galarian Weezing. But all I need in this match, the order. I need Guzzlord on like Grumpig, I need Gastrodon, not on this Talonflame, I need that on his Galarian Weezing. So I'm going to go into Galarian Weezing. He obviously answers with the Grumpig, that's access to Dynamic Punch, and here I have to utilize the strength of this attack that has not been thought through very well, because this attack is too good. In Ultra League, 2 attacks usually don't knock out when bulky Pokemon are standing across each other. But considering I can land all these Rock Tomb here and live the Psywave quite easily and even take less damage from them now, Cradley is quite busted in the 2-shield scenario. So I can let this go. It freaking tickles. He's gonna need another one. And yeah, cool that you have 2 shields still, but you're gonna have to use something if you want to get this attack off. I'm definitely going to take Switch at this point, because he will not be able to get to 2 more Dynamic Punch. I will be able to Bullet Seed down this Grumpig, and either he has to keep a shield advantage for whatever's in the back, or he's going to have to shield Talonflame right here. But I would expect the Galarian Weezing to come in. He knows that I have Gastrodon in the lead, of course, and that I have Guzzlord in the back. Guzzlord is not going to be on this Weezing now, so it has some play there. Now, I did TM it, so I don't have access to a Dark-type attack. And look at this. I reacted really quick there, so I kept my Cradley around, and it means that in the next Incinerate, this is important for later, I will be able to get another Bullet Seed in and throw a charge attack before the last Incinerate lands. Yeah, I've Dragon Claw Sludge Bomb here in case I will get on a Verizon. Mostly, I didn't really do it for the Fairy types. Shields the Dragon Claw is not a terrible shield per se, but it kind of tells me that he might not exactly know how close I am to that attack. I don't think I live 2 Incinerates here. Again, I have a really good Guzzlord. I live those 2 fly. Probably would have, but I get another Dragon Steel damage in here. This point is not even a threat for Gastrodon anymore. And look, he didn't realize I'm 1 Bullet Seed off a Rock Tomb. This is going to knock out the Talonflame, and then it is half a Galarian Weezing left against my Gastrodon, and this is very much over. Basically, lost alignment twice in this set, or I lost the lead twice in this set, and I managed to come back somehow. I mean, this matchup was much more. I would have liked to show the previous one as well, but I honestly thought that my win there was a little bit outrageous after he let a Skytech go on his Verizon, which is like 95% damage. The finals is against MX Twister. We both are 6-0 currently in the tournament, and I'm going to show a few more of these matches than the other ones. This is a match where I decided to use some charge TMs. I had some fun surprises for him, such as Wing Attack Galarian Moltres, because I really didn't like that Verizon, and I definitely expect him to play like an ABB strategy where he tries to draw out my Gastrodon. I play sort of a Go Baltic line here again, like win leads and get the Flyers / Crowns on alignments in the back. I've Play Rough for this Malamar, and I feel like with this attempt to catch, he kind of predicts that I have it. I found out more here because I felt like if I throw immediately at 7 on the Galarian Weezing, he might just know, oh, that's got to be a Play Rough. So I wanted to build up some more here, and I'm glad I did. Earth Power coming through. And I feel like this might be a Cobalion in the back or a Drapion, because Gastrodon does have 3 targets on his team. And I'm kind of glad to get it out of the way, because he also has annoying Pokemon like Verizon and Talonflame that counter it quite well. Favre doesn't even knock out yet. I will be able to get to the Earth Power here, which won't knock out the Malamar just yet in Ultra League, but it will do a very good chunk of damage. He shields it up. I come in with my Galarian Weezing. I throw the Play Rough, which will knock out if it lands, and it does, which is terrific. And in the back is the Cobalion. So he's, I wouldn't say he's ABA weak to my Galarian Weezing, but Play Rough was a good core break here. And this is actually the very first time where I'm like, okay, I want to keep my Galarian Moltres. He hasn't shown the Virizion, and this still could be a really good surprise for later on. Wing Attack actually is an absolute trash fast attack compared to Sucker Punch. The energy generation is the same, but Wing Attack, Sucker Punch does the same damage as Wing Attack when it's resisted, and Wing Attack is neutral. That's kind of the vibe it is, but I feel like if it's double super effective, Wing Attack would be better, and it doesn't really matter into Pokemon like his Drapion, because neutral either way does the same damage. I take game number 1 here in the finals. So now my Gastrodon is gone, and also 2 targets of Gastrodon are gone. This is very likely now that Drapion comes out, but what I'm really afraid of still is the Virizion. He hasn't seen my Galarian Moltres, especially with Wing Attack, so should I bring it this game? I didn't want to risk it just yet. I lead my Clefairy when I'm going ABB weak to Virizion. And look at that, there's a present. It's the Virizion, and in comes Lapras. Now here I have to make a guess. I'm going to chip first with the Meteor Mash before he can get to a Sparkling Area. Does he have Ice Beam? Then I want to go in Lapras. Does he have Skull Bash? I want to go in Guzzlord. I'm guessing he has Skull Bash. He throws an alignment as well, but he has Ice Beam. This is still a winning match for Guzzlord, especially after that Meteor Mash chip, and I have access to Sludge Bomb, so this is not the worst, but I wish I went in with the Lapras now. Especially if it is a Drapion in the back, then my Guzzlord would have been excellent for it. Because a Sludge Bomb Drapion is kind of iffy to deal with still. Lapras in the Ultra League also can hold itself into Drapion, just like it does into Great League. But it's a little bit iffier because Drapion actually tanks the Psywave a little bit better here. I will be able to get to another Sludge Bomb here. My opponent goes for the entire farm down. That has a lot of energy and a lot of Leaf Blade, which is one of the most efficient charge attacks. He is, I believe, at 100 energy, so it throws immediately here. But this is actually a curious play, and my opponent kept doing that. I was kind of surprised to face that in the finals. They throw on alignment the whole time, and this might actually be very decisive in his endgame. Another Leaf Blade would knock out, but they go into Drapion. I'm like, well, iffy. I catch the Aqua Tail here. I was hoping it was going to be an Aqua Tail. If they didn't throw immediately, perhaps it could have also been Sludge Bomb Drapion. Then I wish I threw my Meteor Mash immediately, but it's not, so that's great. That Aqua Tail did nothing, but as you can see, this Drapion hangs on way too well to this to the Psywaves here. And because he got the defense drop, I'm like, well, now the Crunch is going to do more, so I'll throw Skull Bash to buff back up. I'm not sure if I want to shield up just yet here, because the Virizion might be able to get to a Charge Stack as well. I believe it's one or two double kicks off another. You can see here, and again, on alignment. If I can get to 2 Meteor Mash, I'm good here. And I think, let's take a look. I get the farm down, I'm at 100 energy. If he got 2 more double kick in, would he have knocked me out with this Poison Sting right here? There is a chance that the answer is yes. And if that is the case, he kind of threw the game by throwing alignment 2 or 3 times. Get some KO. This second victory secured my win here. Even if I lost this battle, probably would have been fine the final match anyway, because he had Gastrodon for Relegated Talonflame left and I had Krayley, so it was kind of cooked either way. 7-0 sweep in this Ultra League format that was in the Might and Mastery meta, so it's probably going to look a little bit different now. At the time of this video publishing, I will be in New York, and then I will be going to New Orleans for the NAIC, the North America International Championship, which will be broadcasted on the official channel, and I will be commentating, so make sure to check that out. I won't be making many more videos of these, because I don't really like doing it currently for team formats, because my team, fortunately, we're kind of struggling sometimes, and I want to get the best out of it without revealing much of my own strategies. If I'm the only person to let down, sure, I'll upload a video, but for a team format, I want to do the best I can. I hope you liked the video, and see you in the next one.